You couldn't give birth, not even once. But I bore 12 children. Callista, today you leave my son. Thunder shattered the sky, rain poured like rivers, and all my belongings smashed to the ground. She screamed, dragging me through the storm, throwing every piece of my life into mud and puddles. They called me a dry tree. My mother-in-law shattered my world, soaking everything in humiliation because I couldn't give her a grandchild. My husband, he just stood there, silent as I stumbled away. 7 years later, I returned, holding triplets in my arms. The look on his face, you have to see it to believe it. My name is Callista, and I was 25 the first time I met Leo. I remember that night so clearly, it felt like life itself had paused just for me. It was a Friday evening in France. The city glowed, lights flickering against the cobblestone streets. Music spilled out of a grand hall, laughter bouncing off the walls. I had gone with friends, thinking I'd have a fun night and forget about all the pressures waiting at home. And then I saw him. Leo. Not loud. Not flashy. But magnetic. His presence pulled me in before I even realized it. He smiled just once and I felt my chest tighten like I'd been holding my breath for years. You're Callista, right? He asked, leaning slightly closer to be heard over the music. Yes, I said, unsure why my heart was racing. I'm Leo. I think I've been waiting to meet you my whole life, he said. I laughed, nervously because it was dramatic, yes, but something in his eyes made me believe he meant it. Hours passed like minutes. We talked about everything, books, dreams, silly fears, our favorite childhood memories. The world faded. I felt alive in a way I hadn't felt before. By the time the night ended, I knew one thing. My life was about to change. We didn't rush. That was the thing about Leo, he wasn't pushy or impatient. But everything between us felt electric, inevitable. We walked in the park the next weekend. Autumn leaves swirled around our feet, and the crisp air felt like it carried possibility. Do you believe in fate? He asked, eyes serious. I think maybe I do, I replied. Why? Because I feel like I've been waiting for you my whole life, he said. I smiled, feeling warmth spread in my chest. That day, I understood that love isn't just about passion. It's about comfort, safety, and knowing someone sees you for who you truly are. Weeks turned into months. Dates became routines. Small gestures, a text in the morning, a coffee waiting for me at my apartment, a hand to hold in moments of fear, built the foundation of something extraordinary. After 2 years, we married. It was intimate, simple, but perfect. For 7 years, we built a life together. Travels, a cozy apartment filled with laughter, dreams, and hopes. Yet there was a shadow looming. We couldn't have children. At first, we hoped it was temporary. Maybe next month, we whispered. Or next year. But months became years. Friends' questions, though polite, cut deep. Any news yet? And my mother-in-law, she made it unbearable. Leo deserves a child, she said one evening, eyes sharp. Don't you want to give him that? Her words haunted me, and for the first time I felt fear, not of life but of failure. I prayed endlessly, begged God for answers, for patience, for a miracle. The whispers turned into pressure. Visits from my mother-in-law became storms in human form, sharp, accusing, relentless. You must understand, Callista, she said one afternoon, standing in our living room like a queen surveying a kingdom. A woman's purpose is to bear children. 7 years is more than enough time. Leo looked uncomfortable. He tried to defend me at first. Mom, please. But over time he stopped. His silence spoke louder than any words. I prayed day and night. I cried harder. Nights were sleepless, filled with fear, doubt, and anger. And every day I wondered if love was supposed to hurt this much. Then came the night I will never forget. Leo was out of town. I hoped, for a few precious hours, to have peace. Instead, my mother-in-law came. She stormed in like a hurricane, eyes blazing. My belongings, clothes, shoes, mementos, were thrown into the rain. Get out, she screamed. You are not part of this family. I ran. The cold rain soaked me to the bone. Every step felt like I was leaving a piece of my heart behind. After running through the rain, my body shivering, I had nowhere to go. The city streets were empty at that hour, and every puddle reflected my despair. I clutched my wet coat closer, teeth chattering, and felt completely invisible. Then my phone buzzed. It was Sarah, my oldest friend. I barely had strength to speak, but I whispered, I need you. Within minutes, she arrived, car headlights cutting through the night fog. She pulled me into her arms, and for the first time that evening, I felt a flicker of warmth. You're safe now, she said firmly. Come on, get in the car. Her apartment was small, but it was a sanctuary. She handed me a warm blanket, a cup of tea, and said, "Rest. Tomorrow we figure out the rest." When Leo returned, he didn't even come to take me back. Instead, divorce papers waited. Formal. Cold. Heartless. I was alone. And yet, I survived. And I did. I let myself cry until I couldn't anymore, letting the exhaustion of betrayal wash over me. Days turned into weeks. I stayed with Sarah, slowly rebuilding. Every small act felt monumental. Cooking breakfast, folding clothes, even answering work emails without panic. But the real work was inside me. I had to forgive, not Leo, not my mother-in-law, but myself. I had to release the guilt I felt for not being enough, for somehow letting life happen this way. Sarah was my anchor. "Callista," she said one night, "you survived 7 years of pain. You are allowed to be happy again. Don't be afraid of it." And for the first time, I allowed myself to imagine a life beyond heartbreak. Even as I rebuilt, shadows of the past haunted me. Nights were the worst. I would lie awake and imagine Leo's face, his laugh, even the empty space beside him. I prayed constantly, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in desperate cries. "God, show me the way. Give me strength." Fear lingered. The thought that love would never find me. The pain of facing life completely alone. But sometimes in the quiet I felt a flicker of something new, hope. And hope whispered, "This is not the end. Life has more for you." It was a sunny Thursday morning when I first saw Daniel. He wasn't flashy. He didn't burst in with drama or attention. But he noticed the little things, small cracks in my smile, the heaviness I tried to hide. And then he quietly asked, "Are you okay?" I shrugged, unsure. "I can tell you're carrying a heavy heart," he said softly. "Do you want someone to listen?" And just like that, something shifted. There was no pressure, no expectation. Just kindness. I resisted at first. Love felt dangerous, trust impossible, but there was a warmth in his eyes I couldn't ignore. Our relationship grew slowly, carefully. Daniel never rushed me, never demanded I open doors I wasn't ready to open. He simply existed beside me, showing love in subtle ways. A cup of coffee waiting for me at work, a message to ask how my day was, a gentle touch on my shoulder when I needed it most. I began to laugh again. Small, hesitant at first, then full and unrestrained. I imagined a future not haunted by the past but built on the present. One evening, sitting on Sarah's balcony with Daniel, I whispered, "I think I might be ready to trust again." He smiled, eyes soft, voice quiet. "Whenever you are, I'll be here. Always." For the first time in years, I believed life could be beautiful again. Even with Daniel by my side, healing didn't happen overnight. Some mornings I woke with a lump in my throat, memories pressing down like a weight. The thought of Leo's betrayal still haunted me. His laughter, his absence, the emptiness of our home after 7 years of trying for a child. Daniel noticed my hesitance. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, he held my hand and whispered, "I can't erase your past, Callista, but I promise to be here for your future." I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. Slowly, I learned that love isn't just a feeling. It's patience, understanding, and consistency. Weeks passed, and I began noticing little shifts in my world. I laughed more freely, smiled without guilt, and imagined a life that wasn't trapped in sorrow. One Saturday morning, Daniel surprised me with a simple walk through the park. The sunlight spilled across golden leaves and a soft breeze carried the scent of autumn. "You look lighter today," he said, eyes curious. "Maybe I am," I admitted. "Maybe I'm finally starting to breathe again." He squeezed my hand. "And I'll walk with you every step." And for the first time in months I felt safe, truly safe. Life has a funny way of surprising you when you least expect it. One morning I felt a strange flutter in my stomach. At first I brushed it off as nerves or indigestion, but the feeling refused to go away. I bought a pregnancy test, my hands shaking like leaves in a storm. 2 pink lines appeared. I blinked. Twice. Surely it was a mistake. When Daniel came home I could barely speak. "I'm pregnant," I whispered, voice trembling. He froze, then laughed and cried at the same time, lifting me into a tight hug. "We did it," he said, voice breaking. "We actually did it." It was hard to believe after so many years of waiting and loss. Hope finally had arrived. A few weeks later we went to the doctor. My heart raced as we entered the examination room. Daniel held my hand so tightly, I felt his pulse sinking with mine. The doctor smiled warmly. "Congratulations," she said. "You're not carrying just one baby, you're carrying 3. Triplets." My knees buckled. 2 boys and 1 girl. Daniel's eyes filled with tears as he whispered, "They're ours. All of them." It felt unreal. Every prayer, every tear, every lonely night had led to this moment. I was holding a miracle inside me. Biggest adventure. The months that followed were both exhausting and magical. Doctor visits, nursery preparation, endless research, and Daniel's unwavering support filled our days. Every kick reminded me that life had a way of rewarding patience. Every ache reminded me of the journey I had survived, the heartbreak, the rain, the nights of doubt. Daniel became my anchor. He cooked meals, massaged my aching back, and whispered encouragement when I doubted myself. One evening, watching the nursery light glow softly, I said, "I can't believe this is real." Daniel brushed my hair back. "It is," he said. "Soon we'll meet the little ones who will change our world forever." Hope had taken root, stronger than ever. And I felt unstoppable. The last weeks of my pregnancy were overwhelming. Every step felt heavier. My stomach had grown enormous, my back ached constantly, and even the simplest movements were a challenge. But every tiny kick reminded me of the life growing inside me, 3 little hearts, each beating with a rhythm I could almost hear. I pressed my hands against my stomach at night, whispering, "I can't wait to meet you. I'll do anything to keep you safe." Sleep was scarce. I'd lie awake, imagining their faces, their tiny fingers, their first cries. Fear mixed with excitement, and sometimes I thought I might burst from the emotions inside me. Daniel never left my side. He rubbed my swollen feet, held my hands through every ache, and whispered, "You are stronger than you know. You've carried life through storms. This is nothing compared to what you can handle." I wanted to believe him. I had to. Then it happened. The contractions came fast. Sure. Relentless. Pain unlike anything I had ever imagined gripped me. I gasped, groaned, clutched Daniel's hands, feeling every part of me stretch to the limit. "You can do this," Daniel whispered, tears in his eyes. "You are a warrior. This is your moment." Hours stretched endlessly. Waves of pain crashed over me, but each one brought me closer to the children I had prayed for my whole life. I focused on Daniel's face, the steady beat of his heart, the promise that I wasn't alone. And then, I heard it. A tiny, fragile cry, sharp and perfect. 2 more cries followed. 3 babies. 2 boys, 1 girl. I felt weak, trembling, overwhelmed. Daniel held the first, then the second, then the third. He whispered their names as if saying them aloud would make the moment more real. Tears streamed down my face as I reached out to touch their tiny hands. The weight of every hardship I had endured, years of waiting, heartbreak, and loss, melted away in that instant. I was no longer just Callista. I was a mother, a fighter, a woman who had survived storms and stood victorious. Coming home with triplets was chaos. The house was filled with tiny clothes, cribs, and the constant sound of little cries. Every night was a challenge, every feeding a test of patience and endurance. But every time I looked at them, my heart swelled. 2 boys and 1 girl, the miracle I had dreamed of for so long. Daniel and I split duties, taking shifts through sleepless nights. He changed diapers, I fed them, and together we navigated this new world of tiny humans who depended on us completely. Sometimes when I caught Daniel holding one of them, I felt a surge of gratitude and love I couldn't put into words. My husband was ecstatic. To thank me for giving him 3 beautiful children, he brought home a massive black Jeep. I stood there, stunned, finally feeling the weight of all those years lift off my shoulders. A few months later, we celebrated. Close friends, family, laughter, and love filled the room. I decided it was time to close the chapter with Leo. When he arrived, I barely recognized him. His new wife was with him. 5 years married, still no children. His shock was immediate. His face drained of color. His eyes widened as he took in my children. "Callista." He started, voice faltering. "Callista, I'm begging you." Leo's hands shook, his chest heaving as he sank to his knees. "I was blind. I let you suffer. I let everything slip through my fingers." His voice cracked with raw pain, tears streaming down his face. "Please, I'll do anything, just don't leave me, Callista. Forgive me." I shook my head softly. "It's too late, Leo. I've forgiven you. But my life has moved on." I watched him realize what he had lost, not out of vengeance but with quiet clarity. Life had a way of showing the truth. Daniel squeezed my hand. Our children cooed softly. And in that moment I knew I was finally home. After the celebration, I sat quietly in the nursery, holding my little girl while her brothers slept in their cribs. Sunlight streamed through the window, filling the space with a warm golden glow. I looked at them, tiny fingers, soft cheeks, eyes full of life, and my heart overflowed. Memories rushed in, the storm, the separation, the nights I cried alone, the long years of waiting for a child that never came. And I realized, every tear, every heartbreak, lonely moment had led me here. I said softly, "Thank you, God, for never giving up on me." Daniel walked in and kissed my forehead. "You're incredible," he said gently. "They're lucky to have you." I smiled, feeling a peace I had never known before. Gratitude replaced pain. Joy pushed out fear. To anyone listening, especially mothers-in-law, it's easy to blame a woman. Easy to pressure, judge, or demand grandchildren. But sometimes, the issue isn't with her. Sometimes, the truth is closer than you think. I lived through it. Constant criticism brought only pain, never answers. I hoped she would learn what I discovered, that kindness and understanding are stronger than control and anger. And to everyone else, patience matters. Life doesn't follow your timing. Sometimes the miracle you're waiting for is already on its way, you just have to trust the journey. Months passed and my children grew faster than I imagined. Each day brought something new, first steps, first words, laughter filling the house. Daniel and I watched them with wonder. The boys were playful, always running around, while our daughter was calm and observant, just like me. Our home became noisy, messy, and full of love. Sleepless nights, feeding hours, and constant care turned into a rhythm, a beautiful balance of effort and joy. Every evening, I held them close, feeling their warmth, remembering the path that brought us here. And deep inside, I knew life was truly beautiful. One quiet afternoon, Leo sent a message. He wanted to see the children. I paused, thinking about everything, the pain, the betrayal, the years of waiting. Then I smiled. "Maybe someday," I replied. "But for now we're happy. And that's enough." Closure isn't about revenge. It's about peace. And finally I had found mine. I forgave him long ago, not for his sake but for my own. In that decision I found freedom. Life moved forward, and so did I. Looking back now, everything makes sense. Every challenge, every tear, every heartbreak had purpose. I am Callista, not just the woman thrown into the storm, but a mother of 3 beautiful children. A woman who endured, waited, and believed. Life rewards patience, strength, and faith. I waited 7 long years, and in the end I was blessed beyond imagination. To anyone listening, don't lose hope. Don't give up. Life has a way of rewarding those who keep believing. Storms will come, that's certain. But on the other side, there is light, love, and a joy beyond words. And that is worth every struggle. Thank you so much for journeying through this tale with me. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs to hear this wisdom, and subscribe to join our growing family of storytellers. Your support truly means everything. I'd love to hear from you. Which part of the story resonated with you most? And let me know which part of the world you're watching from. I read every comment and they truly keep me going. See you in the next story. I love you all. God bless you. Bye.